Hello, kia ora everybody, and welcome to this video about the astrology of the planet Venus, planet of beauty and pleasure and love, traveling through the sign of Cancer in Western tropical astrology. The sign of Cancer is about home and nurturing and protection and emotions and sensitivity. Venus is going to be happy there, and Venus is going to also join up with Jupiter while she's traveling through Cancer. So we'll have the two benefics together. Venus about pleasure and joy and love and romance and just the luxuries of life, and Jupiter about expansion and optimism and luck. So that's going to be a lovely transit. So I'm going to go through the dates of that and some other aspects that Venus is making while she's in Cancer, and especially that conjunction with Jupiter. And I'll do an all signs breakdown so that you know what part of your life this is going to affect you in the most. Okay, so to introduce myself, my name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar. I make calendars for New Zealand and Australia. They are lunar month calendars, and they list the aspects that are happening, and they are astrology calendars. But I'm currently traveling in France with my partner, and right now my partner, I'm just going to turn the camera around. He is climbing that great big He's climbing that big rock face that I just showed. Can't see him because it's kind of far away and it's very high. I'm having a rest day, so he's doing a via ferrata, following a steel rope, clipped into a steel rope and climbing on iron rungs, plus climbing on the rock itself. And we've been doing quite a bit of that. He's more of an expert, so he's gone to do a really hard one this morning, and I'm having a rest and doing a video. So I've found a little forested patch, and there's a river in the background, and there are cars, so I hope you can hear me well. But anyway, let's talk about it. Oh, just in case anyone wants to know, we are in the southern French Alps, having a beautiful time. Okay, all right, so Venus moves around the zodiac following the sun mostly, or slightly ahead of the sun or slightly behind the sun, because Venus is so close to the sun, both Mercury and Venus actually. As we see it from Earth, it's like they are going around with the sun. But unlike Mercury, Venus is usually easy to see in the sky, and at the moment Venus is a morning star, and you can see Venus in the mornings, and at other times Venus is an evening star. In the mornings, Venus is known to be a little bit more feisty and bolshy and speaking up for her needs, which is pretty cool. Venus is the brightest object in the sky after the sun and moon. She shines beautifully. She's so beautiful, especially sometimes when you see her in the evening sky and the sun's just gone down. Absolutely lovely in the sunset. But at the moment, she's a morning star. Okay, so if you get up in the morning and go and see the sky before the sun has come up, you are likely to see Venus bright and beautiful. Okay, in astrology, she governs love, partnership, luxuries in life, earthly pleasures. So Venus is about harmony and diplomacy and peace. There's a lot of the things that we regard as being really lovely and good about Venus. She is a benefic, and so believed that pretty much she's bringing good things. Okay, so when I say partnership, she rules partnership, and that can be a marriage partner, or it can be anybody that you're in partnership. She is like the oil to the wheel. She's the lovely charm and peaceful diplomacy that helps make things good and helps make things pleasurable in relationship. There's a sense of justice too, because she is the ruler of Libra, and Libra likes things to be very fair. And she's also the ruler of Taurus, and in the sign of Taurus, Venus is about the earthly pleasures of life, the luxuries of life, comforts, and beautiful things, aesthetics. And Venus going through the sign of Cancer, which is all about home and family and where you're comfortable and you feel nurtured and relaxed and safe. Venus can really enhance those Cancer qualities. So that's the lovely thing about Venus. So she is going through the sign of Cancer, and I need to check my notes on the dates. All right. Venus goes into Cancer on Thursday, the 31st of July, in the afternoon in Australia and New Zealand, and in the morning, early in the morning for me here in the Northern Hemisphere and anyone in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's going to be a little bit different wherever you are in the world, but around about that Thursday, Venus is going to go into Cancer. So I'm going to talk about the aspects that she makes as she goes through. But just to let you know, she's going to move out of Cancer on the 26th of August and move into the sign of Leo. All right. While she's going through Cancer, these are the aspects she's going to make. There are 4 main ones. Okay. The very next couple of days, almost straight away, Venus is actually going to make a square to that very close conjunction with Saturn and Neptune. They're very close together, not quite exactly together, in the early degrees of Aries. So Venus will be, like, let's just say Aries is here. And at the beginning of Aries, we've got Neptune and Saturn very close together. And then if we think of a 90-degree angle, Venus would be there at the very early degrees of Cancer, making a square to those two. And those two are really representing some very big, grand new start for us in our lives. This is not just a little new start, not like just the new moon that governs 1 month, or even a solstice that governs the next year, or or a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter that represents a new start for roughly 1 year, because Venus takes a year to go around. Okay, Saturn and Neptune together in the sign of Aries that becomes exact early next year is a massive new start, like a decade's a new start that is going to be active and playing out over decades for our personal lives and for the world. And with Venus coming into a square with these, it's an activation of that big, grand, colossal new start that Neptune and Saturn represent. Okay, so, and a square aspect is not necessarily easy. A square aspect can feel stressful and tense, and it also can make us want to take and need to take action to solve whatever the problem is that comes up due to that square. So a square aspect can be extremely helpful because it can make us move forward and sort things out that need to be sorted out, because there's some kind of tension driving us to take that action that needs to be taken. And with Venus and Cancer square to Neptune and Saturn, and the great new start that the Neptune Saturn early degree Aries represents, it'll be like something that needs to be resolved about how, whatever it is that we're moving into with this new start. And I just will mention with the big Saturn Neptune conjunction, it's very likely that you won't know yet what it is that that new start represents. It will become clear over the next year or so, especially perhaps around the time of the conjunction early in 2026. Okay, like if I use myself as an example, I really feel like, you know, I'm doing this travel with my partner, and as I mentioned in the last video, it's really unsensible. Like, really, I should be working my butt off saving for retirement, and I'm not doing that. But I felt like this was a really good thing to do, to break out, to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life, where I want to live for the rest of my life, and yeah, what career questions, life questions They're all up in the air at the moment. And it's like that for the world as well, with all the crazy politics that are going on at the moment. Just going to pause for this wind gust. So this big, grand, decades-long new journey that we're setting out on, we're not clear on it yet, and it might be that you haven't actually stepped out of normality yet. You're still carrying on doing whatever you're doing, but I would be very surprised if you don't have some big questions in your mind about, hey, where am I going next? I don't feel like I'm going to be doing anything that I've ever done before. I'm sure everybody's thinking that on some level, especially wherever Aries is in your chart, but in everything, this is just about everything. That big new start with Saturn and Neptune, which is also supported by a sextile from Pluto and a sextile from Uranus. The outer planets are just crazy at the moment with the alignment that they've got. It's incredible. And this square from Venus is likely to bring up, now what are the dates of that? Let me just look it up. Okay, it's like Friday the 1st of August, Saturday the 2nd of August, around about that time. There might be some kind of feeling of tension that comes up with the area of life that Cancer rules in your chart. And it could be to do with relationships. It could be to do with money, because Venus is about money and material possessions. It could be to do with how you operate and how you are in partnership. So yeah, some kind of challenge that comes up that needs to be resolved. And you might need to take action. And with Venus, the kind of action you might need to take could be actions for peace, for diplomacy. It could be some bit of charm needs to be applied. It could be some beauty that needs to be enhanced, because Venus is about beauty. I'm going to go closer to the video, so sorry about my face right in your way, so that you can hear me, because it's really got more windy. But I couldn't record in the van this morning because there was a chainsaw, so I had to work out something. Okay, so the kind of ways to solve the problem could be to make something more beautiful. It could be to consider the aesthetics of something. It could be about especially being diplomatic. It could be about buying something that needs to be bought, because, Venus being money and possessions, maybe you need to buy something. It could be about, there actually could be a need to do something luxurious and lovely to resolve this problem. And that can seem like a backward step. So usually with problems, we think we have to be hard and focused and taking hard action. But sometimes it might be about a need for luxury and pleasure, which sometimes can break the tension so that you can think properly, perhaps see a solution laid out before you. Anyway, so that could happen early on in Venus's transit through the sign of Cancer. So I'm just going to check my notes now. I'm going to pause so I can see what the next aspect that Venus makes is. Well, on the 12th of August, we've got the big one, the lovely one, and that is Venus conjunct Jupiter. So Venus, as I said, it's about love and beauty and pleasures in life and finances, money, luxuries and comforts, especially in the sign of Cancer. The comforts will be coming out. But also we've got Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Cancer for a year, and Jupiter is very comfortable in Cancer. So especially now Jupiter's becoming visible and well out of the square with Saturn now. Jupiter's just going to be bringing such luck and benevolence and expansion and righteous thinking and exploration and travel and thinking big and wide and optimistically to wherever Cancer is in your chart, and I'm going to go over those. So, and that's for a whole year, but it is especially enhanced beautifully on the 12th of August when Venus comes into conjunction with Jupiter in that sign of Cancer. So something lovely and lucky and wealthy could come your way, something loving, luxurious and expansive, and perhaps taking you into a new and exciting adventure, because Jupiter is about adventure. These are the sorts of things, like a lucky break, lucky opportunity could come your way around about the 12th of August with Jupiter and Venus in conjunction then. Okay. And then the final aspect I'll mention on Venus's journey through the sign of Cancer is on the 16th of August, Venus comes into a trine with the North Node, and the nodes of the moon. North Node is in Pisces, the South Node is exactly opposite in the sign of Virgo. And the North Node represents where we want to move forward, where we need to move forwards with in life. We can be out of our comfort zone. As a collective, it's in Pisces at the moment, but wherever it is in your chart, that's an area that you need to go into in your life, and it'll be challenging and hard, and you won't know what you're doing because it's not anything you've done in your past lives, or you might not have had it in your childhood, so there's no familiarity. But anyway, for the collective at the moment, the North Node is in the sign of Pisces, and with Venus in the sign of Cancer, there is a trine between them. So some way that we need to move forward in the world with Piscean things. And Pisces is about connection to spirit, compassion, charity, the creative arts, where it's like you're really like connecting with the universe and everything that is out there. So it might be just producing beautiful paintings, or ethereal, mystical kind of arts, paintings or music or poetry, whatever it is. It can be any kind of art, but where there's a Piscean, mystical, ethereal, kind of magical and spiritual quality about it. Okay, that's the good side of Pisces. There's some downsides as well, and Venus is going to trine that North Node on the 16th of August. Yeah. And so something about the ways that we need to move forward in the world and on our soul's journey will be enhanced with that trine energy, because the trine 120 degrees is a lovely flowing aspect. Okay. And then on the 26th of August, Venus moves into the sign of Leo. I haven't talked about the moon aspects with Venus because, yeah, there's enough already to talk about. Just after Venus moves into the sign of Leo, late August, then Venus will be sextile to Uranus and trine to that Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's going on. But we will leave that for now. So I'm going to do an all signs breakdown about Venus in the sign of Cancer for your sign. Everyone has Cancer in their chart, even if you have no planets or points there. There'll be some area of life for you that Cancer rules, and I'll go through that now, starting from Cancer. Okay, if you are Cancer, Sun, Moon or Rising, well, Venus is traveling through your first house for that month, and Jupiter is traveling through your first house for a whole year. You are going to be expanding into new areas over this coming year. You're going to be feeling optimistic, expansive, even voluptuous, especially with that Venus transit through the sign of Cancer. And while Venus is there, you know, Venus being about love and beauty, so this is in the love field, this is going to affect all your relationships. In the money side of Venus, perhaps there's some luck for your finances, especially with Jupiter there. And in terms of the first house, an important part of your first house is about actually your identity in the world and your appearance. And with Venus going through your first house, it might be that there is some enhancement to your appearance. Maybe get a new wardrobe, a new outfit, a new way of doing your hair, some new makeup tip, whatever it is. And even if you don't do anything different about your appearance, it is likely that you are just going to be glowing more, looking more beautiful, and more luscious. So that is really nice, Cancer. I hope you have a lovely transit time with Venus going through your house. Let me just mention, okay, yeah, just after Venus goes in, on the 1st and 2nd of August, you've got that square to Saturn and Neptune. They are in your 10th house of Aries. So there could be some challenge that's coming from you and how you feel about yourself, your identity in the world, that's affecting your career. So that's early on in the transit, but it will be good. Venus will help. There might be some action to take, but you will do well. So all the best, Cancer. Enjoy that lovely, voluptuous transit of Venus and Jupiter going through your sign. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, Venus is transiting for the next month and Jupiter for the next year through your 12th house. The 12th house can be about your self-undoing, like the ways that you kind of muck yourself up, like addictions and escaping too much from the world. But it can also be a wonderful spiritual house where you retreat into what is mystical, connecting with the universe, connecting with spirit. It's about charity also, and charity and compassion. And Venus and Jupiter are so enhancing these. And especially around the time of that conjunction with Jupiter, there could be some wonderful spiritual feeling of connection to everything that there is, all the energetic realms coming to you, feeling like you're really connected with the energetic realms that normally we can't see, feel, and touch. Perhaps you can. If you've got a strong 12th house, you can. But yeah, feeling like at one with the universe, that could be really beautiful. And leading up to that, on the first couple of days of August, we've got the Venus square to Saturn and Neptune. They are in your 9th house of Aries. So you've got some big grand, life-changing new start happening and unfolding over the next couple of years with Saturn and Neptune conjuncting in your 9th house. So the 9th house is about exploration and adventure and expansion of the mind and expansion of your geographical location. It could be about travel, or it could be about learning, especially higher learning, university learning, or learning about spiritual truths. So with the square there, it could be some question mark comes up for you about perhaps your belief systems or your spiritual truth, or about travel plans, and you might need to work through something, but it's okay. Venus is, even in a square, is pretty helpful and easy. So all the best for that, Leo. Enjoy that lovely time over the next month in your 12th house of retreat, refuge, escapism, and spiritual connection. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, Venus and Jupiter are in your 11th house. So Venus will be there for the next month from the 31st of July. Let me check that. Yes, 31st of July. And Jupiter is there for a year until the middle of next year. So wonderful expansion and enhancement and pleasure in your 11th house. And the 11th house, and Cancer for you is your 11th house. That is about your long-term goals. It's about the rewards that you get from work. And it's about friendship groups or associations of people that you have chosen, like large networks or communities of people that you've chosen to be part of because there's something about what they do or what they represent that you like or you believe in. Okay, so there could be some really lovely social times with those friendship groups while Venus is there and while Jupiter is there over the next year. And especially when you get the conjunction between Venus and Jupiter on the 12th of August, there could be some beautiful lucky break, like maybe there's a group of friends or some kind of association you've wanted to belong to for a long time, or you've just had your eye on, or maybe you didn't even know about them at all, and suddenly you're a member of this wonderful group and you feel very happy about it. And there's fun and pleasure to be had from being part of that group. Or it could be some wonderful reward from work that you get, or it could be some great luck, a breakthrough with some kind of long-term goal that you've got, that you've had for a long time. Maybe it's not the fulfillment of the goal, but it could be a big step forward on it. Or it could be a new goal comes to you, because Venus and, whenever we've got a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in this case, that represents a new start. So it could be some new wonderful long-term goal that clarifies for you and feels really lovely and lucky. Early in August, the first couple of days, you've got the square to Saturn and Neptune, and they are in your 8th house. And the 8th house is about transformation, rebirth, death and rebirth, and your deep psychological layers and investments. So there could be some kind of challenge there, perhaps to money, like investments. It's also about your partner's money. So there, if you have a partner, this could be some kind of challenge with the money, or somebody else's money that's somehow connected to you. Or it could be there's some kind of deep psychological patterns that are not very easy get triggered by that square. But with it being Venus, who is a benefic and who's helpful, maybe there's some action to take and some work to do, but mostly it'll be fine. So enjoy that, Virgo. You've got Venus and Jupiter going through your 11th house, bringing you luxury, love, and expansion and luck in that area. All the best, Virgo. If you are Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Libra Rising, well, you have got Venus going through your 10th house for the next month, and Jupiter going through your 10th house for the next year or so. And that is, your 10th house is Cancer. The 10th house is about your career, your reputation and status in the world. Even if you're not earning money from your career, if you're doing voluntary work or whatever, it is still all about your reputation and status in the world and the legacy that you want to leave behind. So for the next month, you've got Venus going through there, bringing some lovely sweet luck, and Jupiter going through until about the middle of next year. Okay, and when Venus and Jupiter come together there, wow, there could be some real lucky breakthrough for your career. Just going to try and escape the wind a little bit. Just going to keep going. I don't think I can escape the wind. Sorry, I'm coming really close, so I hope my face isn't too big. Anyway, some lucky breakthrough in your career, or it could even be some great new start in your career, because Venus and Jupiter, they represent a conjunction. That's a conjunction, them coming together, and that's a new start. That's a new start that's really blessed and feels benevolent. Perhaps they really notice you at work, and through that you get a lucky break, which will be awesome. Or something with it, whether it's like a new promotion or something, you are noticed, and there's a lot of luck involved in that. People notice you and they think you're cool. They think that you're shining in your career. At the beginning of the month of August, first couple of days, Venus has just gone into the sign of Cancer then, and will come into the square with Saturn and Neptune. And Saturn and Neptune are representing some great, grand, epic new starts unfolding over the next few years in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, whether that's business partnerships or romantic relationships that are committed, or anybody that you're working on a one-to-one basis with, clients, close friends, where you're doing stuff together and planning and working together. Yeah, so some great epic new start. So Venus square to those two could be a bit of a challenging time, and there might be something to work through there, but mostly it'll be fine because Venus is a benefic and usually helps things to feel easy and flowing. You might need to take some action, but that's okay. But mostly you've got a really loved up feeling in your career house for the next month and even for the next year, with luck and expansion while Jupiter is there. So there you go, Libra, enjoy that. If you are Scorpio, sun, moon or rising, but especially Scorpio rising, Venus and Jupiter are transiting through your ninth house. Cancer is your ninth house, and Venus is there for a month, and Jupiter's there till the middle of next year. Well, the ninth house is about how you explore the world, and whether that is geographical exploration, like where you're actually traveling to far off lands, distant lands and cultures, or even if you're getting to know people in your own community from far off cultures and lands. It's also about the expansion of the mind and philosophy and learning things that are really big picture things and help you grow in your mind and your beliefs. It's also about your belief system. So if you have a religion or some spiritual principles that you follow, these are all getting expanded, and there's lucky breakthroughs and opportunities. It could be that you get some wonderful opportunity to travel or to learn something that's like really higher learning, and it really expands you and helps you grow. Lucky breakthroughs, especially at the time around the 12th of August when Venus and Jupiter are exactly together in conjunction. There could be some lucky breakthrough or a new start, maybe a great new plan to travel or a great new plan to study. Okay, and you get luck and support for that, which is really lovely. The ninth house is a lucky house, so you've got like triple luck for the next month, and you've got the luck for the next year with Jupiter. And just the ninth house is lucky anyway. It's a house of expansion, optimism, and good fortune. Okay, and at the same time, you've got a square on the 1st and 2nd of August. Around then, Venus comes into square to the great big epic decades-long new start that's happening with Saturn and Neptune, and they are in your 6th house. And the 6th house is a lot of this kind of everyday aspects of life. Try and get that sunbeam out of my face, even though I shouldn't complain about sunbeams. It's better. Okay, so the 6th house is about a lot of everyday life things and the details of life. Small things often. It's about your daily work and where you go to work, who you're working with, the service that you're doing, the tasks you do every day, giving service in practical ways, and your daily routines for health, your nutrition, what you eat, how you keep yourself clean, how you keep yourself healthy through exercise and good practices for health. Okay, lots of little mundane things, and yet this is a very big, grand, epic, fiery new start with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the fire sign. So anyway, but that's unfolding over years. While you've got the square from Venus from your 9th house over the 1st and 2nd of August, there could be like just some kind of challenge to your travel plans or to your 6th house of the service and the daily work and the health routines. But Venus helps you work through it. It could be sticky for a moment, but then, Venus has got a charm, diplomacy, and peaceful and a sweet feeling about it. And so that will help you work through it. Mostly you've just got this great, loved up energy in your 9th house of expansion, exploration, travel, and higher learning. So all the best for that, Scorpio. If you are Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Sagittarius rising, you have got this lovely, expansive time with Jupiter over the next year till the middle of next year in your 8th house, and Venus is there for the next month in your 8th house. Cancer is your 8th house. The 8th house is about breakthroughs, psychological breakthroughs. So maybe you have some wonderful new luck with undoing some layers of complexity and pain, perhaps, that are very deep within you, and you can somehow get some real luck with breaking through those with Jupiter there and Venus. Also, the 8th house is about other people's money in your life. So it can be your partner's money, it could be the money belonging to other family members, or your investments. Wow, there could be some luck there. Maybe you get an inheritance, especially when Venus and Jupiter come into conjunction on the 12th of August. Or maybe your partner gets an inheritance, and of course you benefit from that as well. Or some kind of big sum of money might come your way, and I don't know, that's the kind of luck that you can get from Venus and Jupiter. So that's pretty cool. Early in the month, 1st or 2nd of August, we've got Venus will be square to Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and that is your 5th house. Yeah, okay, so there could be some kind of problem with 5th house matters. You've got a great, epic, grand, decades-long new start happening in your 5th house. The 5th house is about your children, your hobbies, and the things that you produce from your heart that you've got natural talent in. Also about romance and fun and pleasures in life. Could be a bit of a challenge there with this great new grand epic new start that's happening in that area, coming from Venus square in your 8th house. So that might be something that you need to work through, but it's okay, because Venus, it's always okay even when it's a hard aspect, but in this case it is a hard aspect, but Venus softens it with her charm and beauty and love and peaceful feelings. So that will be all right. But mostly in your 8th house, the house of other people's money in your life, big amounts, and also your psychology or even occult matters, like if you're into occult things like tarot or astrology, some big breakthrough in that regard, especially with Venus and Jupiter conjunct on the 12th, but overall over the next year and month, you've got some great luck there. So all the best for that, Sagittarius. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Capricorn Rising, well, you are getting all loved up in your relationship house. You've got Jupiter there until the middle of next year, because Cancer is your 7th house of relationships, of significant partners in your life. All right, so Jupiter's there bringing luck and opportunity and expansion in your partnerships. And this can be one-to-one intimate partnerships with a committed partner, or it could be anybody that you work in partnership with, business partners, clients, or people that you spend a lot of one-to-one time with. All right, maybe somebody you're traveling with, or you do trips with, or something, and you plan together and you travel together. Something like that. You do things together, one-to-one. All right, great lucky breakthroughs and expansion and luck. And especially when Venus is going through for the next month from until late August. Wow, that is really lovely. Lots of some sweet times, I think, with your partners, whether that is the friendship kind of partners or the business partners. Things will be flowing, things will be sweet, especially when you get that conjunction between Venus and Jupiter on the 12th of August. I've said it like 50 times, but I always have to check my dates. All right, on the 12th of August, maybe there's some big breakthrough, maybe there's some big new step, some lucky opportunity that can come your way with Venus and Jupiter coming together, the two benefics coming together in your 7th house of relationships. That's lovely. Early in August, when Venus first goes into Cancer, she makes a square with Saturn and Neptune. They are in your 4th house. So Saturn and Neptune represent their conjunction, their upcoming conjunction early next year. That's a big, epic, grand new start that's going to last for decades, whatever it is that's starting. And you might not be clear what it is yet. But anyway, whatever it is, when Venus is square to those two, there's a little bit of a challenging, sticky moment, some kind of challenge or something to work through where you need to take some action to resolve something. Venus tends to make that easier because Venus is a benefic even when she's in square aspect, so that will be fine. Mostly you've got lots of love for the next month especially, but also the next year until the middle of next year with Venus for the next month and Jupiter for that year in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So lovely, Capricorn, enjoy that. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, well, you have got Jupiter in your 6th house until the middle of next year, and you've got Venus in your 6th house until the end of August. All right, so you've got a month of Venus. The 6th house is Cancer for you, and it is a house that's covering lots of the ordinary aspects of everyday life. So I think your everyday life is going to be really quite enhanced and lovely, especially over the next month with Venus there. Venus plus Jupiter. So the aspects of everyday life that the 6th house rule are how you work in the world, how you give service, your daily work that you go to, the tasks that you do there, the people you work with, how it feels at work, what's happening there, and also your daily routines for health and hygiene. So you're cleaning your teeth, your yoga in the morning, going for a run, your exercise routines, what you do to keep yourself healthy, your nutrition, it's like, healthy diet and all of that. These are really ordinary, mundane aspects of life, the details of life, but Jupiter there is making those seem like more expansive and important, and Venus is bringing, for the next month, a loved up feeling there. When Venus and Jupiter conjunct on the 12th of August, come into conjunction, there could be some great, lovely, lucky breakthrough, a bit of luck comes your way, some good fortune that could be a new start for something. Maybe you find out a wonderful new exercise program to do. Maybe you get a promotion or move into a different office and you get some really lovely colleagues to work with. Some kind of breakthrough that's a new start and it feels really lucky and you're just feeling happy about it. So that's neat. Early in the month, on the 1st, 2nd of August, Venus will be in square to the great big epic new start that's happening in your 3rd house. And that is where Saturn and Neptune are. They are in your 3rd house. And the 3rd house is also about kind of the ordinary things of life. It's about your neighborhoods. It's about who you're connecting with as you travel around your neighborhood, your social media conversations, trade and exchange, your siblings, and also about small business. That's a trade and exchange part. So there's some great new grand and decades long new start happening there with Neptune and Saturn coming into conjunction that we're building up to early next year. And there could be a challenge coming from Venus, coming from your 6th house of daily work and all that. So there might be something to work through, but that's okay. Venus makes it easy with her peaceful vibes and you'll be okay. So if you've got having trouble from a colleague or a neighbor, you'll be able to work through it. Mostly you've got a loved up feeling in your 6th house of daily routines and work for the next month and expansion and luck for the next year. So all the best with that, Aquarius. If you are Pisces, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Pisces Rising, like me, we have got Venus going into our 5th house for the next month, and Jupiter's in there and is going to be in there for till the middle of next year. And the 5th house is Cancer for us, and that's all about, fun and hobbies, things that you produce and create from your heart, like with a natural talent, And also, yeah, romance and romantic partners and your children. So things could be really lucky for your children over the next year, or could be lucky in your romantic life, or lucky in the life of your entrepreneurial projects and your hobbies over the next year. And it's especially loved up from the 31st of July until 26th of August with Venus in that part of your chart. Oh, nice. Fun and romantic and pleasurable times are really nice, especially when Venus comes into conjunction with Jupiter on the 12th of August. There could be a big breakthrough with something that you love to create, a big breakthrough for a child of yours, or a big breakthrough in your romantic life. So that is nice, even sexual pleasures, whatever it is. So I hope that is lovely for you, Pisces, and for me, that will be lovely. And then, of course, we've got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's building up. We're in it now, but it comes exact early next year, and it's a big, grand, epic start for something that's going to last for decades in our second house of money, our values, the things that we value, our possessions, our wealth, our material wealth, and our sense of self-worth. And early in August, the first couple of days of August, there's a square from Venus there, and that could be a challenge to that area, a challenge to our sense of self-worth, or a challenge to our money. It might mean we have to sort out our budget and figure out our finances a bit, but mostly with Venus, it's okay, even when it's a square aspect that's challenging. Venus helps it flow well, and yeah, there can be a benevolence there, so that will be okay. Mostly, really, Pisces, the fifth house is a lucky house and a fun house, and we've got lots of luck and fun over the next year with Jupiter there, and especially enhanced and loved up with Venus there. So all the best for your children. Hope they have some wonderful new starts, your love life and your creative projects. So all the best, Pisces. If you are Aries, sun, moon or rising, but especially Aries rising, well, you have got Venus coming into your fourth house. Your fourth house is about your family of origin, your home, your property, where you live, who you live with, and your heritage, your ancestry, and your private life, where you feel safe and secure. All right, and Jupiter's also there, and Jupiter's there for a year until the middle of next year. And while Jupiter and Venus are there, wow, that is quite loved up in the home, quite luscious and luxurious and expensive there, especially when Venus and Jupiter come into conjunction on the 12th of August. There could be some new lucky breakthrough in your home, something that feels lovely and lucky and expansive and benevolent. Yeah, some big new start that feels really good for you. Okay. Early in August, Venus is in a square, like the first couple of days. Venus is in a square with a great, grand, epic, life-changing conjunction that's happening and building up between Saturn and Neptune. That becomes exact at the beginning of next year, early next year, but we're building up to it now, and boy, that great epic new start is in your very sign, Aries. So especially if your early degree is Aries, boy, you have got such a crazy new beginning in your whole life happening now and unfolding over the next few years. Venus square to those two could bring a bit of a challenge early in the month of August, but you'll be able to work through it. You might need to take some action, but Venus brings some good vibes and some good luck with her and loving feelings, so it should be fine. Mostly this is about with Jupiter and Venus going through your fourth house of home and family, some nice feelings, some sweet feelings and love and luck and new starts that feel really good there. So all the best, Aries. If you are Taurus, sun, moon or rising, but especially Taurus rising, Wow, you have got Jupiter going through your third house. Cancer is your third house. Jupiter will be there until the middle of next year, and Venus is there for the next month. The third house is about your neighborhood and your community, traveling around your community, so short distance travel, where you're going here and there, the people that you know in your community, your neighbors. And it's also about your siblings, your brothers and sisters, and your relations like aunties, uncles, nephews. Okay, so, the third house is a lot of things. The third house can also be about your small business, your side hustle, trade and exchange, community projects. It can also be about social media, what you're doing on your social media platforms, any kind of communication and messages going on. I'll try and get where the light's better. Okay, so your third house is getting loved up for the next month with Venus going through it, especially with Jupiter there, and Jupiter's there until the middle of next year. So there could be lucky breakthroughs and expansion and optimism and a bit of romance there, perhaps, a bit of some flirting, maybe. Okay, when Venus comes into conjunction with Jupiter on the 12th of August, perhaps there's some wonderful, lucky, grand new start with your small business or with your relationships with your siblings or in your community in some kind of way. Maybe you get a new car for traveling around your community, something like that. The third house is a lot of different little things, so it could play out in some different ways, but there'll be some kind of lucky, grand, and benevolent new start that feels a bit loving and just makes you feel like a warm glow around about the 12th of August when Venus and Jupiter come into conjunction. So that's really lovely, and you've got lots of luck there for the next year with Jupiter anyway. And then early in the month, on 1st, 2nd of August, Venus will be in square to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. And this big, epic, decades-long, the beginning of a decades-long story is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is about, some people call it the house of your self-undoing, like your addictions, your escapism, some like underlying beliefs and things like that. But also it's about charity and retreat and connection to spirit and being in a real creative zone, like connecting to your right brain. Oh, there's a twig. Connecting to your right brain, like where you get into an alpha kind of, I can't remember if that's the right word for it, but a real creative state where you're connected to spirit, connected to all that is, at one with the universe. Some kind of challenge from Venus in your third house at that time. Maybe you're trying to be too practical and logical, because the third house is about logical thinking as well, and you need to actually access the bigger creative self that connects with all parts of your brain, not just the logical parts. That's just one little example. But anyway, so a square aspect, you could need to take some action to help you with this great grand new start that's happening in your 12th house. But Venus there tends to make the action easier to take. It helps it to be flowing and okay, so it will be all right. It's just for a couple of days, and then you've got that lovely conjunction with Venus and Jupiter on the 12th of August in your third house. So I wish you luck, Taurus, and I hope you have a lovely breakthrough there. All the best. And now finally for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, but especially Gemini Rising. Well, you have got Jupiter going through your second house until the middle of next year, and Venus going through your second house until the end of August. And the second house is about your money and your values, your possessions and your sense of self-worth, whatever your values are. And hopefully you value yourself. You have to get on in this world. We need to value ourselves as well as it's like where we put value on things by spending money on them especially in the material sense. Can be the house of your earnings as well. So there's some lucky benevolence there. Wonderful, until the middle of next year with Jupiter there, and especially enhanced and loved up with Venus going through there also for the next month. Very nice. Venus and Jupiter will come into conjunction on the 12th of August. Wow, that could be some wonderful lucky breakthrough. Maybe some money comes your way, or maybe you get some big boost to your sense of self-worth in some way, whether that comes from within or comes from an external thing that helps you feel better within yourself, stronger and more lucky and expansive. Yeah, so some wonderful breakthrough to your finances and your sense of self-worth. It could be a new position that comes to you even. It could be something a little bit luxurious with Venus involved. Venus is a natural ruler of the second house because it rules Taurus, which is the original second house in Western tropical astrology. So it's very strong there. And then early in August, the first couple of days of August, you've got a square to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and they're in your 11th house. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction is unfolding. It comes exact early next year, but it's a great big decades-long epic story and change of life that's happening for you in your 11th house. And the 11th house is about your rewards from your career. It's about long-term goals, and it's also about the groups of people that you belong to by choice, the friends and the friendship groups that you have by choice. So there's some great big story unfolding there. And when Venus goes into square with those two in the first 2 days of August, there could be some challenge in that area, and you might need to work through something to take some action. Venus tends to make it easier because Venus is benevolent and lucky, and there's some love and charm involved, and that could help. But you might need to take some action, but that's just for the first couple of days. Mostly, you know, look forward to that 12th of August with that conjunction with Venus and Jupiter, which could be just some great breakthrough, lucky breakthrough. And then you've still got Jupiter there until the middle of next year, even once Venus moves on. So that's lovely. So all the best for that, Gemini. So there we go, everyone. That is my video. I'm going to walk back to the van now, and I really hope my partner's not waiting desperately outside because I've got the keys and we've only got one set of keys. We've been really loving France, loving the language, loving the food, and loving the mountains. Yesterday, it's currently staying near Briançon, which is in the Alps, and we're getting to higher and higher mountains. And yesterday we went up to the top of a valley and we walked near these glaciers, which I loved. I love glaciers. The first time I saw a glacier was at New Year's, and it was Brewster Glacier in the South Island, you know, bottom of the South Island, around about. And boy, I just feel it's like such a presence, because Brewster Glacier in New Zealand, you can see from the top, and you just see the shining being. I really felt like could really sense the energy that, like, it was such like a person, like a being, a peaceful giant. So beautiful. Anyway, there's lots of glaciers around here, but we didn't see them from the top, so you don't get quite that same feeling, but it was awesome. And so many people around here, rock climbing, doing the Via Ferrata that we're doing, hiking. It's such an active area. Everyone looks so fit and healthy, and it's pretty much the French people here. It's not so many other countries, a few Italians because we're close to the border. But yeah, it's very interesting, very lovely, and very healthy. I really like it. So have a lovely transit with Venus and Jupiter together. All the best, everyone. Hei konara. Bye for now.